This message may challenge you, but it's meant to help you grow, not condemn you. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Proverbs 27 verse 6. You don't usually expect God to change history through quiet obedience. We expect fire. We expect miracles. We expect dramatic moments. But the Book of Ruth doesn't begin with a miracle. It begins with loss, with famine, with grief, with ordinary choices made by hurting people who didn't know how their story would end. Ruth doesn't shout. It doesn't thunder. It whispers a warning we often ignore. God is watching how you live when no one is applauding. Ruth is only 4 chapters long, but don't mistake its size for softness. This book exposes a dangerous lie many believers live by, that faithfulness only matters when life feels big, spiritual, or successful. Ruth reveals something far more uncomfortable. God builds redemption through everyday obedience, through loyalty, when leaving would be easier, through faithfulness when bitterness would be justified. Ruth isn't about romance. It's about who you cling to when everything falls apart. And today this book is asking you a direct question. When life strips everything away, who do you choose to follow? Following God when the cost is real. Ruth 1 verses 16 to 17. But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." Ruth's words are not poetic sentiment. They are a death sentence to comfort. She is choosing poverty. She is choosing obscurity. She is choosing a foreign land. She is choosing a God she cannot fully see yet. This is not emotional faith. This is costly faith. Most people follow God as long as it improves their situation. Ruth follows God when it guarantees hardship. Many believers say, "I trust God," but quietly calculate how much it will cost them first. Ruth doesn't negotiate. She commits. Matter of fact, faith that only follows God when it feels safe is not biblical faith. Heart check. If following God required loss instead of gain, would you still go? Bitterness does not cancel God's plan. Ruth 1 verses 20 to 21. "Don't call me Naomi," she told him. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." Naomi is honest, painfully honest. She believes God has dealt harshly with her. But here's the truth. Bitterness does not disqualify you from God's redemptive work. God does not abandon Naomi because she is hurting. He quietly continues working anyway. Many believers think they must clean up their emotions before God can use them. But Naomi proves something important. God works even when your heart is heavy. Matter of fact, God's plan does not collapse because you're grieving. Heart check. Have you stopped expecting God to work because life wounded you? God often provides through ordinary effort. Ruth 2 verses 2 to 3. "And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, 'Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor.' Naomi said to her, 'Go ahead, my daughter.' So she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz. Ruth does not wait for a miracle. She goes to work. God's provision often meets us in motion, not in passivity. Many people pray for provision while refusing responsibility. Ruth prays with her feet. She moves. She works. She trusts God while showing up. Matter of fact, faith is not passive waiting. It is obedient movement. Heart check. Are you praying for God to move while refusing to take the step He's already shown you? Character is revealed when no one is watching. Ruth 2 verses 11 to 12. Boaz replied, "I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. Ruth did not broadcast her faithfulness. Others noticed it. God sees quiet obedience, and so do others, even when you don't realize it. Faithfulness is most visible in how you treat people who cannot repay you. Matter of fact, your character speaks louder than your confession. Heart check. What would people say about your faith if they watch your life instead of your words? God's protection often comes through boundaries. Ruth 2 verses 8 to 9. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the women." Boaz sets boundaries not to restrict Ruth, but to protect her. God's boundaries are not punishment. They are provision. Ignoring God's boundaries often feels freeing, until the damage shows up. Matter of fact, boundaries are not limitations. They are safeguards. Heart check. Are you resisting the very boundaries God put in place to protect you? Ignoring redemption is like ignoring a warning system. Ruth 3 verse 9. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant, Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." Ruth appeals to Boaz as a redeemer. She acknowledges her need. She does not save herself. Modern real-life example, ignoring a medical diagnosis. Think of a person who goes to the doctor because something feels off. The doctor runs tests. The diagnosis comes back clear. There's a problem, but there's also a solution. Treatment is available. The plan is laid out. Help is offered. But instead of following the treatment, the person says, "I don't want to deal with this right now. I feel fine most days. I'll come back later." The diagnosis doesn't disappear. The condition doesn't pause. Ignoring it doesn't make the body heal. It allows the damage to quietly progress. Redemption works the same way. God doesn't expose our need to shame us. He reveals it because healing is available. Ruth doesn't pretend she's fine. She doesn't try to manage life alone. She steps forward and acknowledges her need for a redeemer. Matter of fact, knowing help exists but refusing to respond does not prevent loss. It allows it to grow unchecked. Heart check. Have you acknowledged your need for redemption? Or are you managing the symptoms while avoiding the cure? Obedience prepares the way for blessing. Ruth 4 verses 9 to 10. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife." Redemption required public commitment. Boaz doesn't hide his obedience. God's blessings often follow obedience that costs something publicly. Matter of fact, God honors obedience that doesn't seek shortcuts. Heart check. Are you willing to obey God even when others are watching? God's quiet work has eternal impact. Ruth 4 verse 17. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. Ruth didn't know she was shaping history. She was simply faithful. But her obedience led to King David, and eventually to Jesus Christ. You may never see the full impact of your obedience, but heaven records it. Matter of fact, faithfulness in the ordinary can shape eternity. Heart check. Are you underestimating what God can do through your obedience? My heartfelt plea. Please hear this with an open heart. Ruth is not asking if you believe in God. It's asking if you cling to him when belief costs you something. Some of you are standing at the edge of loss. Some are bitter like Naomi. Some are tired of doing the right thing without recognition. And God is saying, stay faithful, stay humble, stay obedient. Redemption often arrives quietly, but always arrives on time. Don't abandon God because the story feels unfinished. Call to responsibility. Stop waiting for dramatic signs. Start honoring God in daily choices. Choose obedience. Choose loyalty. choose faithfulness. Final truth: God doesn't need your perfection. He requires your faithfulness. What if your obedience today is shaping a future you'll never see? What if heaven is counting on your faithfulness right now? Message to non-believers: if you think the Bible is just a story, ask yourself why redemption still echoes through history. Jesus is the ultimate redeemer, and like Ruth, you are invited, not forced, to come under his covering. Lord, teach us to be faithful when the path is unclear. Help us trust you when life hurts. We choose obedience, not convenience. Amen. May you walk in quiet faithfulness. May obedience guide your steps. May redemption meet you where you are. Real talk is meant to call us higher, not push us away. If God convicted you today, it means he's calling you to come closer. Always remember to be the light. Pals for life.